G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the architectural demonstration. This is conducted on the Caddie Professional version 27 that was launched just recently. What you're seeing on the screen is an aerial photograph with already some of the surveying information. If I switch off the pictures, you see I've got a site plan and a footprint of the building that I want to do. And I fast track this, and if you want to see more detail of it, if you log onto the webinar for the surveying site, we will show you how to do the layouts of the surveying site. For the moment, I'm going to use my levels. I'm going to switch down to story 1, and here is the footprint of my building. So if I click on the footprint of my building, I'm going to go to right click and I say convert to walls. Several walls, so I'm going to select then the wall height of 2720 and the width is 230. Click on OK, and there we've got our walls. So let's add in a door. So I click on door. Under our preset styles, you've got all different types of doors. I'm going to select that one and load that one. There's my head height and the height, and then the width. I'm going to indicate by center. So I click on OK, and from my keyboard shortcuts, I'm going to select Auto Snap, and I'll indicate the position. If I just double click, it will change the swing for you just by double clicking. So I'm happy with that. Let's switch the 3D off for the moment, back onto the footprint. And let's select the Polyline, and I'm going to say give me an offset of 110 to the inside, and from there I'm going to select the slab. So I'll select my slab. I'm going to go for ground floor slab, and let's make it 85. So let's keep with that one. Click OK, and you have a polyline, and there we go. So if I orbit switch back to 3D, you'll see there I've got a slab. So on the keyboard for top view, and we can add now windows and so on. Let's say I want to go to a first floor. So I'm going to add in a staircase. So I'm going to use some geometry or construction lines, say from there, and give me an offset of 5 meters from that one. And I'm going to select stairs. The stairs, I'm going to use a standard style. Obviously, you can create your own styles. And I'm going to stay with this parameters 2 meter wide, 270, yeah, I'm happy with that. So I click OK. I want to start from that, and I want to go into this direction. And there's my staircase. If I orbit or turn, you'll see there is my staircase. If I click on it, I can go and say stair, give me a railing, give me on the left hand side, and give me an offset of 50 millimeters. Click on OK, and there I've got a handrail. Let's do one on the other side. So click on stair, railing, and go to the right hand side, offset also 50 millimeters offset. There we go. So we're ready to go for our first story or first floor. And if I go to top view again, and I select story 1 from my levels, you'll see that there's a noticeable color change. That means it's sitting on the lower level. There's several ways of doing this. I prefer going and say I want to follow this direction, just as a footprint for the first story. Here we go. If I orbit, you'll see it sitting. Let's switch the 3D off. The 3D objects, you'll see there it sits. I'm going to do the same for the slab. So I'm going to offset this and say give me an offset 110 also from the inside. Go to slab and go to first story or first floor. I'm going to keep it 85 and click on OK, switch it back on, and there's my stair. But good one problem though, I haven't got an opening on my slab. So let's on top view, it's really quick and easy. I'm going to select a rectangle and rectangle by polyline. There we go. So let's turn it again. I like to see what I'm doing in the perspective or in an opposite view. Click on my slab, and I'm going to, from the context toolbar, select cut in a hole from a polyline, and there we go. So if I select, let's switch that off for the moment. Let's delete the polyline, and I'm going to say give me handrails. I can go obviously polyline, or I can say from points position there to there, and back to the option end, and I've got stairs from the top. So I just need walls. Remember we created, let's switch the 3D off, and we created the outer line, and that's one of the reasons I did that. So I can say convert to walls, new wall, same thing, click OK. Let's switch the 3D back on. There we go. Now I need a roof. Okay, so let's go for a roof. Select a heap roof. As you can see the preview there. The pitch is 35 degrees. I've got 250 overhang, and the height is 2720, and I'm going to indicate by polyline or circle. In this case, polyline. Click OK, and I indicate direction to polyline, and there we go. I can also take the roof and let's change the transparency so you can look right through the roof. And let's add some windows. So I can see the staircase on the inside, but now let's go and add some windows. So I'm going to go back into story 1 and let's go and select windows. I'm going to go for a aluminium 2.7 by 1.2. The headline is 2.1 and I'm going to indicate by center. Click OK, auto snap, and I'm going to indicate first let's orbit this way, one there and one there. Now let's go into story 1. Do the same here. You'll notice I don't change anything with regards to layers. Everything is handled by the levels manager or wizard. Click on it, Caddie picks up more than one wall and it says, okay, which one is applicable, and I'll just click that one. So to speed up things, I'm going to click spacebar, point. Very simple. Nothing fancy. It's all about speed. Click spacebar, point. Click spacebar, point. Click spacebar, point. And there we go. I'm not going to continue. We can do internal walls. Unfortunately, we're going to run out of time for that, but for what I want to show you. But there is our model. So let's look at it from the top. Let's go back with our story 0 and let's add some dimensions. So I want to add dimensions, vertical dimensions for those objects. I'm going to go right click and say add AEC Dimensions. And you'll see I've already got a chain of dimensions. There we go. I'm going to press S on the keyboard. Let's go for change the style. I'm going to go for 3 chain. So put in 3 chains and there we go. Just do the same on the other side. And go right click, add dimension group, S, change the style, 3 chains, and put it down there. The reason I've done this now is, if you look at the dimension, let's say I want to add another window here. Click on the window, auto snap, there we go, press R to regen, and you'll notice that the dimensions have updated automatically. If I remove it, the same will happen, it will update it. So let's go top view again, and let's go to the story 1. Do the same thing. I want to add dimensions for those objects, for those walls there. Go right click. Obviously you can grab them also from your context toolbar. Press S for multiple and stick them down there. When you're finished, now we're going to place them on our sheet. So here at the bottom I've got different sheets. I'm using a template, so if I go to all layers you'll see I've got already template set up. So I'm going to use a new one to show you how to do it from scratch. So I've got a new sheet. I'm going to go right click, sheet setup, and let's call it A0. I want to use a PDF printer, and I want to select an A0 sheet, ISO A0, and the plot style definition I want to use, let's say style 1. It's one of the default styles that is shipped with Caddie. Click OK, and there's our sheet. I need a title block. Let's go to File, Insert, and I'm going to select Insert Title Sheet. I'm going to select the standard one in Caddie, and there's my title sheet. So now let's add our drawing onto the sheet. So I'm going to go and select Story 0, and I'm going to, under View, create a viewport, rectangular viewport, indicate the area that I want to include. You don't have to worry, you can always change this area. It's not fixed, so just a roughly outline onto the A0 sheet, and I can select which scale I want to 1 in 100, and I can also select which layer to be switched onto the viewport automatically. Click on OK, and let's say put it down there. So let's go back to the model. Let's go into story 1. That's the one I see. Let's go create a viewport, rectangular. Click OK. This remains the same, and let's put it to the top there. I'm going to move them around. You'll see now. Let's go to all layers, switch all layers back on. Refresh or regen, and you'll see there. So in this viewport I want to see only story 1. That includes the roof, and at the bottom there's my ground floor. So I've got text already here set for ground floor. I can take that text, right click and copy that. I'm going to go for second floor. You can obviously do story 1, story 0. Click OK, and I want to place it there. Right, so we've got that. Now let's go back onto our model. Let's go and have a look. I need some elevations. So you'll notice I've already got some elevations set up here, west, east. We don't see anything because I haven't updated it yet. So I'm going to go to my levels and going to the level that says sections that I've set up. That will omit any of the information that I don't need for the elevations. And so I'm going to click on update elevations. You'll notice the hourglass, and Caddie is redrawing them And there we go. Our elevations are set up. Now all you need to do is place them on our sheet. So let's go and create rectangle. Let's go for the north elevation, same sheet. And I want to go for the sections. There we go. Click on OK, and I want to place it there. If I go to all layers, you'll see there's our title block. Let's just switch off for the moment. So go back here, select the next one, from there, that area, sections, place it down. And you don't need to switch manually. I can just go and hit it directly. Caddie will automatically take me to the model space, and I can just rectangle, and for the south one, place them down and click it there. Now to put the text in, I will select that text there, double right click, and I'm going to say north elevation, scale 1 to 100, click OK, and let's place it there. That next one, if I'm not sure where it is, let's go back and say viewport, zoom to viewport in model space. So that viewport, that is west. So let's go back, take that text, that, and let's say that's west. Down, keep it vertical, and the same. Go to east. And then this one should then be south. Let's move all of them up. So I select them, right click move, and place it there because I want to place my side plan in here. So I can either take this viewport, copy it, change the scale, or I can go back to the model, and I'm going to go to my site, and I'm going to select, let's create the viewport, and that is the area that I want to include. You'll notice I made a mistake to cut it off to show you how to manipulate that. I want to say at a scale 1 in 1000, click OK, and let's place it there. So let's go all layers. Here's my site plan, and you can obviously manipulate that. So spacebar, let's go again to paste that one. Let's bring 1 in 500. That's the better one for me. Let's delete that one. But I've got the other ones in my way. Let's take the top one. Let's move this one this direction. Let's take the second one, move that one that direction. I'll line them up for you now. And let's take that one with the text, move it up that direction. Might not fit, so this is the way that we manipulate the viewports. Click on those grip points, and then I can just drag them to the size and the form that I want. Maybe there, and here's our site plan. So let's go and just switch the site layer group on. There's my site, and obviously it's cut off. All I do is just drag it. Simple as that. Here's my site plan, so I can just take the site plan, move in this direction, but I want to edit the site plan text, make it 1 in 500. Here we go. We haven't got a section. So let's go back to the model. Let's go and use the section level, and I'm going to say I'm going to cut the section right through here. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go to build vertical section, quick section, and I want to snap from that point to that point, and I want to look in that direction. Where do I want to place it? I'm going to place it in line with these. There's our section. We don't see the stairs. So let's just have a look. Let's go all layers. Let's see what layer these are. So layer 40. So let's have a look at our layers for sections. I bet you 40 is not switched on. There we go. Let's switch that back on. Click OK. Look it from the top again, and I'm going to say take that section there. I want to regenerate it, and I'm going to say reselect, and OK. There we got our stairs. You also see it's cut into the walls with the windows, and there's our section. So I can now go and say go to view, indicate rectangle, and say OK. I want it from 1 in 100, and I want it on a section layer groups, and I want to place it here. Look at all layers, and there's our section. So notice the color change, and the reason for that is if I go back to my model, I'll click on here, you'll see my section is colored by layer. It's sitting on a layer which is layer 10. So all I do is I go to my layer setup, go to layer 10, and that one, change it from pen number 9 to 7. and now it's the same color. If I go back to my sheet, here we go. I can now take the text and I'm going to modify this and say this is section A, at scale 1:100. Place it there. Let's move this a bit down because I've got some space at the bottom. And let's see what this looks like. I'm going to just add, just to line it up a bit. And let's preview. So I press F7 to preview. And that's what it's going to look like. You'll see these are mono, black and white. And these are color. You can change plot style by viewport. It doesn't have to be in the same plot style definition to do that. What I need to do now is to place my section arrows also on my plan. So let's do that. So I'm going to go back to my model space, go to the plan view, and obviously you can go and save your view. So let's go to my settings. I'm going to save this view as a plan, and from here on, if I am anywhere in the drawing, I'll get back to the plan. All I do is select plan, and I'm back there. So I've got in my catalog, I've set up a catalog, and you'll see in other webinars we will handle that. But in the catalog, I've got a one that says custom. There's quite a few here. I want to grab the section arrows, bring it in, and I want to place it, let's say, on that line there, and let's modify that. So from the top, I've got option for stretch, so I'll click on stretch, and I'm going to indicate the area that I want to stretch. I want to move from that point, keep horizontal, and up to that point there. So there's my section arrows sitting on layer 0, 0. I can always change that and put it on, let's say, sections. Or in this case, I think a better option would be to put it on where the walls are. Walls ground story, because what I want to see in the side section AA. Okay, so let's get rid of the catalog, close it down, and I see there's a misalignment here, so let's click on that, right click move, or you can just press M on the keyboard. I'm going to move from that position there, keep vertical, and there we go. Now I'm happy with that. We get the full view. Let's go and print this. F7, I want to preview it. That's how it's going to print. And if I hit print now, it's going to save it as a PDF file. Obviously, you can go and add dimensions and so on. I can now go and save my drawing. So I go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as Webinar 2021. Press Enter, and the file is saved. Obviously, you can also open DWG files, but you can also open IFC files, and let me demonstrate that to you. Because you can save DWG, you can also then open DWG. But at the same time, we can open IFC files for the BIM. We can go and say File, Open, and I select my file type as IFC. In conclusion, allow me to show you quickly the scheduling, how powerful this is. So I go back to my model, and I'm going to go to my story 0 for the ground floor. I want to know how much sand I need, bricks, etc., etc. So I'll go to Draw, Scheduling, and I'm going to go click on General Schedule. You'll see I've got build calculations for double wall. Click OK, and all I do is to lock the area in. It asks me at the bottom, indicate the position for the schedule table, and I will click there. So I'm going to click on the table. Let's switch auto update on, and I'm just going to drag it a bit bigger. If I unselect, escape, there you can see all the wall areas, all the brick, sand, cement, and here is the top. I'll do exactly the same for the first floor, and you can then modify and say ground story, ground floor. We're using ground floor, so I'm going to stick with that, ground floor, and you can see how it updates. So this schedule also updates automatically when I manipulate the object. If I go for, let's do a window and door schedule, so I go to Draw, Scheduling, and I go to Window Schedule. Again, Caddie asks me to block it in, select the area, include the objects, and I will ask me to show me the size, and you can see the windows I've got, mark 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can now go and modify this parameters quite easily. I select my schedule, let's put the automatically update on, and I'm going to go to right click schedule table and zoom to specific area, and I'll click on the first one. You'll see this is where it is. So if I zoom out, that's where it picked it up. So for the moment, I'm going to go and switch my viewport to, let's say, to horizontal, and I know that first one is that one. If you go to your extended data, that's number 1. The schedule table, that's number 1. So in here, I'm going to go and say glazing 5mm clear glass. As soon as I press enter, you'll notice how it gets updated. Now look at the frame material. I'm going to go and say frame aluminium can even put a preview in. You can customize the schedule. It's basically just a schedule style that you can also customize to fit your requirements for your environment. If you want to, you can go and say, give me a rectangle. I want to include this. Go to my sheet for the viewport. I'm going to go and say auto fit. Click OK. Let's go all layers, and I want to make it fit there. And if I want to do the window schedule, rectangle, that area there, and I'm going to say plan, and I want to place that this area here, print that, preview. There's my schedule. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you soon.